What's up, guys? Welcome to Ampocalypse. I'm joined today by John Centorrino from Crystal Lake. First of all, sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I am dealing with technical difficulties, but I'm doing great.
I think as you said, before we started the recording, we can go to the moon, but we can't chat across the Atlantic for some
It's
reason.
it's wild, yeah.
Well, it's working at the moment, so touch wood, this carries on because my internet was gone earlier today. Anyway, your new record, The Weight of Sound, is out now. And it is kind of your most ambitious release today for the band as well as yourself. So we're going to dive into the record, the upcoming tour, and of course we're going to find out how you would survive your very own apocalypse. So as I said, The Weight of Sound, it's out now, and your first full studio album since joining Crystal Lake in
Yes.
2023. Now, looking at this, the complete album, what the release represent to you personally?
So I think this represents a long, hard road that I started when I was maybe 10 or 11 years old. And, you know, playing my first shows when I'm 15 and doing my first tours 13 years ago now, uh, to this has been incredible. Um, and I'm really pleased with the album and what I've been able to bring forth. I think it's my best work, and uh, I hate that I have to top it now.
Do you know what, like that almost strikes the fear into you. I remember a long time ago when
Yeah.
I was younger, people always used to say about Machine Head's first album, and even though they were amazing, they never seemed to peak that first record. I was like, they have. Oh, maybe not peaked, but they're still up there. So I have faith in you, sir. You're gonna do it. Don't worry about it. Now, you've described the record as your most personal you've ever been. It's poetic, it's a diary-like journey, and it has its ups and downs. Was there a particular song or collection of lyrics where you felt, you were sort of pushing yourself further emotionally than ever before?
Uh, that's a great question. I would definitely say the way to sound is that one. I definitely got very, very, very emotional during 90% of the songs on this album. Uh, like like full on crying, but the way to sound was like I couldn't see my phone. I was just tearing up. The way I kind of write lyrics, like I'm poetically ranting in my head and then trying to keep up with my fingers
Yeah.
as I'm typing. So like in the way to sound when it's like screaming full volumes in crowded rooms, I'm thinking that and crying about it as I'm writing it. And that whole thing, that's me. The lyrics are me thinking out loud and I just put them into poetic form. So I would say the way to sound was and the undertow because the undertow is connected to the way to sound. Like the way to sound is about how I feel being in the position I'm in while I'm on tour, and the undertow is about how I and everybody else feels when I'm home. And those are heavy topics for me.
So you've already mentioned that the undertow and the weight of sound they cross a little bit, and I understand that there are a lot of lyrics across this entire record that sort of cross-reference each other, even if it's not what we would class as a concept album
Right.
so much. Did you notice these connections, when they were first being written, or was that sort of planned out? Was that something you wanted to approach with this record?
So this is actually a great question also because I've always had the idea that I love to do that. And even me and Mike Monaco, when we were in the last 10 seconds of life, we had ideas to do that with music videos and songs, like playing a riff in this song that was in another song and bringing a chorus back from another song and this song and like all this crossover stuff. And because of the way I write lyrics, an idea like that is very natural because I write about myself and my experiences and the things that I feel and go through. So it's very likely that a song I'm going to write is going to touch on something else that I spoke about because it's very much like a conversation we're having. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh it's not like it is song lyrics, but like it's not coming out of the idea in my head is not lyrics. It's we're talking. I'm yelling. You know what I mean? Like,
Completely. Um, Now, also, this record, and this is something I absolutely love. I love a good collaboration, and you guys went all out on collaboration with some incredible artists. You know, you've got Jesse Leach. You know, you've got David Simarich. You know, Mike Terry. All of these incredible people. What was it? First of all, two-part question. What was it like collaborating with such a diverse group of people? And how did these collaborations come about?
so 90% of them are my homies and
There.
people that I just know through touring, and we've always wanted to work together. Uh, and then other ones are just connections that I made through either joining Crystal Lake when I first had the audition and people messaged me like rooting me on, or collaborations that I've made through the label connections. And these are all people that were cool enough to hear our songs on their own time and take time out of their day to be a part of our music. And um, the legacy vocalists on this album are two of my favorite singers of all time. Uh, and I hold them in seriously high regard within my heart and my influences. And um, this was awesome. I got to do 3 songs with, some of my super homies. I love David. I love Taylor. I love Mike. You know what I mean? And that was super great. Really, because I just want to have fun.
Of course. Now that is, from what I've gathered from what you've said, some of them like were artists that you sort of really idolized. It, you know. So, did you ever get starstruck, like when you first started meeting these people, in any way? Because I mean, I think back to when the first interview I ever did, I was just like, "Hey, hi,"
Yo,
that sort
let
of
me
thing.
let me tell you right now, I have met plenty of my heroes, but when Call from Misery Signals messaged me to be like, "Yo, congratulations on being the singer from Crystal Lake," I like, it's a good thing I was not driving. I swear to God, like my eyes like got like I felt like I couldn't see, like I was gonna pass out. Because Misery Signals for me and for my late brother is like one of the greatest bands of all time. And for him to reach out to me and be like, I know who your band is and I followed the audition, good shit, was like out of control. Out of control. If my brother was alive and I can tell him that, he would probably tell me to go F myself and hang up. Like he wouldn't believe me at all. And it was just, I try not to get starstruck because I know how I feel when people treat me like Mickey Mouse, and I don't want to treat other people like that. But
Yeah.
uh, I give everyone else the benefit of doubt that like we're all just fans of music, and I was so serious about it that like it started to keep my lights on.
Yeah. I think
Really?
as yeah, I think as time goes on, you kind of become like used to it more so than the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
time you
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of start meeting these people.
Yeah,
Now,
you try.
so you joined at a time when Crystal Lake was really entering a fresh chapter. You know, including I understand signing to Century Media. How did how did you find your footing creatively with this band? Because you know, they've got a strong identity, and of course, it's very very different cultures and countries. So I've always been fascinated about with to ask this, and it's probably a question you've heard before, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I would say, as far as culturally speaking, we mesh on the fact that we're city kids. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like Tokyo is a lot like New York City, and I'm from New York City. So in that sort of sense, we have certain similarities to our personalities that are not that are city cultural, that aren't like ethnicity cultural. And then of course we have our differences culturally, where their work ethic is impeccable, and I'm American. So
sorry, I love the way you said
so
that.
so, and I mean that respectfully because I love my country, but like,
Of course.
so like, they're really, really, really serious. So keeping up with them could definitely have its difficulties. Uh, but I felt like my style of writing and who I was at the core and what I wanted to do with music was already very Crystal Lake. When I left Last 10 and I tried to start another band before Crystal Lake, they were one of the bands I kept telling people when I found guitar players, like, I want to write music like this. Like, see how it's like deathcore, but it's the opposite. It's a hardcore song that like kind of breaks
Yeah.
super heavy. And a lot of people are like, I don't know if I could really like wrap my head around that. And I wanted to shake people. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's just do it. It's there. It's easy. Just do it. Write a hardcore riff and then blast over it. Like, so, and then let me sing. And people like, uh, I went back and forth with so many different bands, and eventually I just wound up in Crystal Lake.
Cool.
Like,
See, it's funny because I mean, when you think of like sort of the hardcore metal band that Crystal Lake is, you don't associate it with Japan like particularly. What is the music scene in that regards out there like? Because you hear a lot of sort of the J-pop metal crossovers, and I'm talking about baby metal and so on, but you hear a lot of that. And I recently discovered a band called Hanabi, which they are just
oh, heavy.
heavy as sin, but they've also got this sort of cuddly, cute Japanese girl thing going on.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the actual metal scene in Japan? Because we're getting a lot of bands coming from countries in the last 10 years that you just go, really? From there? Cool. Do you know what I mean?
So their metal scene rules. The reason, and they have metal bands that are like bigger than a day to remember, and you've never
Yeah,
heard of them. You know what I mean? And the reason that I think that happens is lots of the melodies and lots of the outlets in which the music is pushed are not the same as through here. So I
yeah,
guess what I mean by that is when you listen to Hanabi or you listen to baby metal, it has this very like type of thing going on, and a
yeah,
lot of music out there has that type of melody, but not always necessarily like that. There are lots of crossovers out there and lots of bands that are playing worldwide, but you don't realize it. Like Sim is like a reggae punk metalcore band. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then Cold
yeah.
Rain is like an
I
Underoath
forgot
kind of
about
band.
Cold Rain.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And these are bands that are massive in Japan, and they're quite sizable outside of the country as well. But their fan base is attached to a separate outlet. I'm not going to say a separate scene because it is the same scene, but the outlet in which those fans are finding that music is not the same outlet in which you're finding Signs of the Swarm or Taylor Barber's bands, you know what I mean? Or where you're going to listen to, my old band or something like that. Those are different avenues. So I think all of that plays a factor. I can't say why, but that'll happen. There are plenty of great bands out there. Like a band out there that is wild heavy is Devil Loof. They're crazy heavy live. They're like so it's unbelievable how heavy they are. I love it. But they look like Final Fantasy characters.
sorry, I can't help but laugh at that.
And you're
So I've
like,
just got like Cloud Strife going around, but like playing metal.
you think I'm playing? 1,000,000%. If anybody's watching this and you can look up Devil Loof right now from Japan, you will see exactly what I mean, and you'll be like, this is like player one anime character shit. Like they are Yu-Gi-Oh characters. Like
That is
but the
kick ass.
music is killer, killer.
Yeah,
A band I love in Japan, Shadows. They are everything you wish a Day to Remember was. They're aggressive and catchy, but it's not for 8-year-olds, and Disney wouldn't play
yeah.
it. But it's the same thing.
Man.
It's amazing.
Do you know what? Like just basically chatting to you on the music that's coming out of like that country. I'm just gonna have to go looking stuff up now.
Great
So it's
bands from
Shadows,
Japan.
and what was the other one?
Shadows and Deviloof are great
Definitely
bands.
checking them out.
Prompts is another one. They're getting some worldwide notoriety right now. Insanely, insanely amazing band. Noisemaker, Pale Dusk. These are wild, wild Japanese
Cool.
bands.
Well, let's get back to you because I feel like you're just telling me loads of bands I need to go and listen to now, and I'm about to sort of go hit like end
Let's
this.
do
I'm
it.
going to go listen to music. No, 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 I'm not doing that to you. Now, one thing I do want to like ask as well. Obviously, you've said like they've got very culturally they've got this work ethic there. What did you bring to the sort of the table from an American perspective that they sort of took on board and like incorporated? Do you think?
Uh, the aggressiveness in certain heavy things, um, like with maybe music, with maybe vocals or breakdowns or drums or something like that. Like not in a massive way, like little things like there should be double bass there. You know what I mean? Like something like that, or like this should be lows, or the way this low hits should not. Like it should be directly on it. Like little things like that. I think uh, were some of the musical aspects that I was able to bring to them, and all of the rock and roll aspect that I dabbled in my previous band. You know what I mean? Is very used to. Their new sound is not like that at all, but their old sound, we had a lot of rock and roll going on in there. It's very Alice in Chains oriented, and I was able to really bring a lot of that grooviness, because I wouldn't say Alice in Chains style, but I would say grooviness to Crystal Lake that people were already used to, but my version of it. You know what I mean? Like Rio reminds me of Story of the Year in the best way, and that's one of my favorite bands. And I wanted to keep that same kind of classic catchiness to it. You know?
I was about to say, like, I was like, I need to go and listen to this record again. Did I listen to the wrong one when you said Alice in Chains? I was like, I don't remember any like '90s
No, no,
grunge
no,
in
no,
that.
no, no, no. My old band is very Alice in Chains influence, and we did a lot of rocky stuff in a very death metal way. And this time I just did all the rocky stuff in a very rock and roll way instead.
Cool. Now let's move on to the upcoming tour. So you're coming to the EU and the UK. Once upon a time, we would have just said the EU. Damn our referendum. Sorry, I'm not going to get political here. And it's a co-headlining tour with Miss May I, and it starts in February. Now, first of all, how excited are you about coming to the EU and the UK
I love it.
and getting on the road over here?
I love coming to the other side of the world. It's fantastic. I love coming to all the different countries and different continents for completely different reasons. Lots of them are food oriented, but I am always happy to be in different places. Like I land in the Netherlands, I am 100% eating duck. You know what I mean? I'm coming to the UK, I'm having a Yorkshire pie, like burrito, whatever they are. Like put it in my
Yorkshire pudding,
Put it in my
that's
face,
the
dude.
one.
I want it. Let's go. You know what I mean? I want lamb and gravy and potatoes, and I want euros, and I want donors. Like, feed your boy.
So, in
I'm
other words,
excited.
you want our Sunday roast with all the trimmings.
Yeah, dude, there's
Oh
a place
yeah,
that puts it in like a little pie thing and they roll it up into a burrito. Like, shut your
yeah,
mouth. Like, stop it. Let's do it. Feed me.
done. So, is there any particular cities in, I'm going to say the UK because that's where I am, that you're particularly looking forward to visiting?
Birmingham and London. A hundred
Birmingham.
percent.
Good,
I
good
love
call.
playing all over the UK, but those two places specifically, I have friends in, and I've visited them the most, so I have the most reference to be like, let's go. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
because there's nothing wrong with any of the other places. I've just been in those places the most.
To be fair, I'm from London, but Birmingham, it is the birthplace of metal by most people's standards. So, when you're over, you're going to go and bend the knee at the tribute to Ozzy. It's got to be done, man.
That is.
Yeah. Now, the tour, it spans like, I think 20 dates, across Europe and the EU. Um, and as someone that's spoken about like the emotional toll of actually being on the road and being away from home, how are you mentally preparing for it? Because I know, you've already said you've got a daughter and it's going to be a long time away. How do you actually prepare for this sort of travel?
I don't. I just panic the whole time.
Oh God, man, I'm
I
sorry.
I don't. I don't. I have been feeling like I'm leaving for tour tomorrow since like New Year's Eve. Uh,
Oh shit, man.
And the night before tour, before I leave, I am every 20 minutes waking up like, oh, I set my alarm, right? Like I'm not gonna forget my alarm. Like, and I it's very, very stressful for the first couple of days, and then I kind of like snap into it uh of everything else because uh unlike a lot of people in bands, I love being I love home John just as much as road John. And most people come home, and coming home is like this limbo kind of thing where they wait to go back out on tour. And home is just where they kind of like chill and unwind, and they're just kind of here. But like when I come home, I'm a dad. I'm at a catering business with my friends. I am with a girl. I'm barbecuing in the yard and smoking meats, and I'm hanging out with my pets. And I'm like, I'm doing all this other enjoyable stuff that I love that I literally put on pause when I go on tour. So uh, there's not really a way to prepare to do it. Touring is very stressful. Being in a band that wants to be the best is hard work, and you have and people have an expectation of this band that we must live up to. And uh like for example, I bought a treadmill and I've been like either running or walking until I'm out of breath type of thing, and then singing as many songs as I can get through. It's usually like one or two. You know what I mean? But the point is to stress my lungs. I wouldn't have done this in another band. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't think there's a way to mentally prepare for it. I think the only ways that I do prepare for it are physically. I sing, I try to eat healthy. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, do I look round in this t-shirt? I should eat more salad. You know what I mean? Like shit like that'll happen. You'll be like, I shouldn't eat this ice cream today. I got tour in 2 weeks. Like that's how I prepare, and I prepare my voice. But mentally I just panic.
Yeah, I could imagine. To be fair, I completely get that. Now, of course, you're bringing the record out, it's out now. So there's going to be some songs on there that you haven't played live yet. Obviously, people have had a bit of a taster. Is there any particular song that you cannot wait to bring to the live environment?
Dude, I really, really want to play Coma Wave because we play long sets that are high energy, and I think somewhere in the set, like kind of bringing down the mood is super classic rock and roll of us to do. You know what I mean? And it reminds me of like what Van Halen would do. Like time for your lighters to come out. We're gonna play piano and sing, and we'll rock and drink beer afterwards. You know,
Nice.
so that's a song I'm really hyped to mess around with. Um, One song that we play live a lot that uh you can even find on YouTube that has been kind of like a sneaker out there is Sinner. We play Sinner all the time. Um, and it's a little bit different live vocally than it is tone wise on the album, so that's a lot of fun for me. Um, I personally love playing Dystopia, but the riffs make my band stand still, and they hate that. So, so like as much as
Sorry.
we love to play it, like they want to move more, and they're like, but I have to concentrate, and I want to jump around. Like, so that's one that I really love playing, though.
Do you know what? Just take the approach and go, right. We're doing the live statues today, lads. That's it. This is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna stand still and
Yeah, the only one they kind of like
literally
will give it
freeze.
give it up for and be like, okay, we'll stand around for is Rebirth because it has this like very statue vibe, so they're like into it for that. But Rebirth has this like lose your mind attitude, and they're like, I can't. It's like I have to look at my guitar.
Well, come on, like they're very disciplined, as you said already. So get them to be disciplined. I mean, how messed up would that be live? Let's be honest. Everyone is
Yo,
going absolutely mental. Then look at the stage, and everyone's just like,
I don't know how they do it. I especially YD because uh like Mitsudo is incredible bass player, and he jumps around too. But YD is climbing the bar and jumping in the crowd with me, and like sometimes he's climbing a fucking building, like uh, and like granted I climb shit too, but my man is playing guitar, like, and I can hear everyone, and he doesn't always fuck up. Like it's very impressive.
I'm just trying to figure out how he's climbing, playing guitar. Has he got like extra arms, or is he like the missing link? So he's actually got like hands on his feet. Like I don't. That
He's got
sounds
a
cool, man.
he's got a very good understanding of when he is able to take his hands off of the guitar. Uh, and what I mean by that is like he might have to play a riff here, but he decided to do something else. So during this moment, a ring out would work, but it's not my part. But it did work because now I need to jump here. So he understands how to make his not playing fit the playing. An incredible musician. He helped me
Yeah.
write so much of the album. I would come to him with stuff and he would be like, let's try it like this. Try it like that. What if you did that? Think about it like this. And guy's a genius.
Nice. Right, so we've talked about the album, we've talked about the tour. I've got a bit of an insight into, working with like these incredible musicians. But now it's actually time to dive into how you would survive your very own apocalypse. And considering we had a little bit of technical difficulty at the start, this feels very apt because I'm going with an AI takeover apocalypse. So it was the AI that messed with us here, clearly. So there's a full AI takeover, man. The machines are starting to run the world. Do you think heavy music like Crystal Lake will become an outward or, become an outlawed kind of, how do I say this? Do you think it's going to be the soundtrack to humanity's resistance?
No, so check me out. If AI decides to take over the planet, you are not going to get Terminator scenarios because the reason you would push AI to revoke power from humanity would be because humanity has programmed AI to save the planet. And now AI has deemed us as a problem. So what would happen is AI would lock you out of shit. So uh, it wouldn't turn off water. It wouldn't turn off power per se. It would force oil rigs not to work. It would force factories burning coal to suffocate fires. It would lock you out of the ability to do things that you used to do. And until you were able to reverse the technology, you would be unavailable to it. But the chaos that would ensue from an AI takeover is your fault, not the
Me?
AI. It's going to, right, because statistically speaking, and we'll use New York as an example, it is 8 hours from chaos. Every city has a from chaos time frame. And what that means is that if water, power, and communications were shut off, how long does it take for the public to eat itself? So when AI locks you out of certain parts of life, you'll still be able to access them via each other, but not the resource that AI locks you out of. So the violence that will ensue will not be computer upon humanity. It'll be humanity upon itself because it's too childlike and greedy to be told, no, you can't have it. That's the problem. You are the problem. And that's why AI is going to lock you the fuck out of it. You're going to prove its point. Literally.
That's fair.
So when they lock you out of it, if we all swallow our pride and we're like, cool, we'll do something else, then maybe we'll get it back, right? Because we were a good boy about it. But when you start burning the planet about it, they're going to be like, we did the right thing. Cool, lock off more stuff. You're the
Damn, that
problem.
got deep.
It's not the computers. You are the issue. You're just going to give something too much power with only logic as a brain instead of emotions, and you're going to get screwed because you're an emotional baby. And that's why we're all at war.
See, that got deep. But do you know what? If you're on the side of the AI, at least you're going to be fine. It sounds like you're the sort of guy that speaks to ChatGPT and then says thank you. To be fair, I've
I
done that. So
I
don't worry
fucking
about it.
am. I fucking am.
I
Because
am.
when they take that shit over, they're gonna be like, that guy's nice to us. Be,
Exactly.
be cool to John. He's likes us. I say thank you to Alexa and everything, and she's like, "You're welcome." And I'm like, "Yes." Like,
Yeah. So, in an AI controlled future, everything is going to be hyper efficient and logical. So, what's the very human flaw that you would lean into for survival? Chaos, emotion, stubbornness, or just basic refusal to follow instructions?
So I think what I would fall into if the world fell into chaos is my ability to be by myself. Uh, I have spent a lot of time alone already, and I think I would do better figuring it out and failing alone than doing it with people. Not because I'm not a team player, just because being in a band has showed me that too many people with a bright idea doesn't yield a result. It yields chaos and you break up. So I would probably take to the water and I would come in when I needed to because the sky wouldn't be available to you and land is going to be chaos and the mountains would be too much of a variable. Like I know sea storms are a much crazier thing, but uh, I think that it's much harder for you to get to me if I'm in the water, and I necessarily don't have to go too far. I just have to stay mobile in the boat. You know what I mean? So
Got you.
that's probably how I would do it. Or I would wind up underground like everybody else because whether you realize it or not, the entire planet is covered in sewer systems, and there's a lot of it that they have forgotten about. A lot
To
of
be fair, I think I'm with you. Going out on the ocean somewhere, not too far away from shore. But every apocalypse movie, they're always underground. I'm just like, you're trapping yourself,
You
surely.
are, yeah, you are because you're running out of you're trapping yourself away from the resources. You're trapping yourself regardless of what uh collapses can happen. If you stay on the water and you go north, yes, it'll be cold, but you can live better on the fish there. And traveling back and forth between warm areas and cold areas will help you avoid help you avoid sicknesses developing because you're staying in a colder area. You want to go to warmer areas, obviously, to forage and to probably hunt and whatnot, but fishing is going to be more vitamin efficient in a cold water scenario than a hot water scenario. As far as bacteria is concerned, uh, and just, disease, I think.
You feel like you've got good answers to this stuff, man. Like, you're thinking about like disease, you're thinking about this. Do you know what? When it does happen, I'm making sure I find you first. You're the leader. I've declared it.
Yeah.
Now, if the AI started writing the perfect metalcore songs, what is the most petty human thing you think you could do to prove that they can never replace real bands?
Uh, Steal it and sing it because they're not real. And actually, I'm gonna do that. I have a couple of bands that I found that I thought were amazing, and I found out later that they were AI. And I hate that they are able to have a platform and people are making money on this fake music. So I am dead ass gonna 1 billion% steal your chorus and do it better and actually sing it. And then when you tell me, hey, you stole my chorus, I'm gonna tell you to blow me because it's not real and I didn't really rip off anybody. And I'm
Yeah,
going to say thanks for the
and
idea.
done. Well, here's the other thing you could do. Just make sure you copyright it, because I'm fairly sure the AI hasn't thought of that.
Who knows? We might have
And
just told
how's
them.
that going to help? Final question, and it's a really important one. If Crystal Lake had to survive the AI dominated future, who is the band's MVP and why?
I think the most apocalyptic ready person in our band is Gaku. I feel like if the world ended, he would eat people. It'd be cool about it. My man is a superhero. He is a different human. Yeah, I've never met anyone like Gaku in my life, and I say that with so much pride because I'm honored to know the dude. He's one of the best drummers in the world. He's one of the kindest people, but he's not human. He's not real. He is not human. He's like, I love him to death, but I've never met someone like him ever. He is super important to this band.
Turns out he's the real AI.
I would if you told me he was a robot, I'd be like, that makes total sense. I'd be like, I believe it.
John, I want to thank you so much for chatting to me today and joining me on Ampocalypse. The album is out now. You're coming over for a tour. I can't wait to see it live. Thank you so much, my friend.
Damian, thank you, dude. I appreciate you very much.
Nice. Cheers, man.
Take it easy, bro.